Then we go to the next presentation, which is going to be an online presentation by Marie-Claire Schug from Via Donau, because part of RIS-COMEX was not only CEERIS, but there was also CEERIS. And Marie-Claire will give us an introduction to what CEERIS has to offer and its added value to all the stakeholders involved on the Danube, and also some takeaways. Marie-Claire, pleased to see you. Go ahead, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me well.
Yes, we do.
Yes, perfect. Okay. So let me just share my screen quickly. I hope this is working now as well.
It does.
Okay, perfect. So thank you very much for this introduction, Henk, and also for the opportunity, of course, to present CEERIS at this workshop. Let me start with the scope and the short background of CEERIS. So what does CEERIS stand for? It stands for the Central and Eastern European Reporting Information System, and applies to those 8 countries. So CEERIS was implemented also within the framework of RIS-COMEX, but only those 8 countries participated in CEERIS. So basically, those are the countries along the Danube corridor, as well as the Czech part of the Elbe River. So in the past, there were many control procedures that were very time-consuming for the skippers. And so because they had to fill in very similar data or even the same data manually and stop at each border and report it again and again. And in order to improve this situation, the aim was of CEERIS to tackle these administrative barriers. One step to improve this situation was the digitalization of the reporting documents, which played an important role in this. The David forms are a good example to show how the digitalization of documents worked. So as a starter, the border controls were to be made more efficient and transparent with the help of the border control manual. And then in the next step, the data fields of the most commonly used border controls were standardized or harmonized. And then thus the David forms were created. So the arrival, departure report, the crew list, and the passenger list. And last but not least, the forms were digitalized, were digitized with the help of the David creator in a first step as an interim solution until CEERIS was ready. So today now CEERIS is ready. So that helped to paving the way to paperless reporting in those corridors I mentioned before. Let's continue with the main purpose of CEERIS. So as I already mentioned before, with CEERIS, the administrative barriers were removed, and thus CEERIS contributed to the reduction of the reporting burdens and paving the way towards the paperless reporting transport. Some hard facts: who can use CEERIS? There are different types of users in CEERIS. On the one hand, reporting parties, the receiving authorities, but also logistics users benefit from CEERIS. So in a very generic explanation, CEERIS enables vessel operators to fulfill all reporting requirements for a specific transport in the participating countries at once. And how? These are the principles of CEERIS, so by reporting only once and with single entering of data. So this next slide may look a little scary, but I think it gives a nice overview of the high-level architecture of CEERIS in order to show the different possibilities of how to use CEERIS and also to clarify the interconnection with different systems. So first of all, we have the CEERIS environment that is accessible via either the browser or via the APIs. So here you can also see on the top the different users that can use CEERIS via the browser. Different external reporting applications, such as BIX, for example, are right now already connected to CEERIS via the APIs. And furthermore, also external receiving in-house systems, such as in Austria, for example, the logs are already connected via APIs to the CEERIS system. Then another important part here, which can be seen on this screen, is that EURIS is connected to CEERIS, and why is shown on the next slide. So first of all, on the one hand, to use it as a single access point with EURIS. And on the other hand, EURIS provides the user management, so including the user roles and the vessel claims. And also the reference data management is done by EURIS for CEERIS, or is used from CEERIS, such as the location data, namely which is the national risk indexes and the reference network model. And what we also wanted to mention here is that CEERIS also uses reference data from the ERDMS. So CEERIS uses cargo data, from the ERDMS, and all those codes were translated into all languages spoken in the Danube region. Furthermore, also the route calculations, vessel positions, and ATA calculations are taken from EURIS in order for CEERIS to work properly. So data storage, how is the data stored in CEERIS, and how can it be accessed by the different users? As I said before, when we had a look at the overview of the high-level architecture, there's the possibility to use it via browser. So here, as a first step, the reporting party first enters the data fields only once, which can be updated at any time. This data is then stored in a central database, which can be accessed with appropriate rights. So, for example, the competent authorities have access to data fields to which they are entitled to access by law. And about the data access, so as soon as a vessel passes a defined time trigger, the authorities or other users that are entitled to see the data get the access to the data. Furthermore, authorities with corresponding data processing rights can change the dataset as well in the central database at any time. In such a case of amendments of datasets, appropriate notifications will be sent out so that all authorized users who have the rights to insight those data have access to the updated dataset at any time. Then the situation with the APIs, external reporting applications can send electronic reports to CEERIS receiving authorities. This is already used or the case for BIX. So in the Czech Republic, I think, for example, it is already used if once vessels are entering from Germany. And furthermore, there's also the external receiving systems that can receive electronic reports from CEERIS. Another example here would be in Austria, where the logs are already connected to CEERIS via the API, so that the logs or the systems are receiving the corresponding electronic reports automatically from CEERIS. And there are plans in Austria, for example, that more connections like to the Statistics Bureau and a port to connect them to CEERIS as well. Then let me shortly summarize the main features and thus the benefits for the different users of CEERIS. The reporting parties, on one hand, they get a transparent overview of all reporting requirements, and they are, of course, enabled to fulfill all reporting requirements along their route. The electronic reports are then generated and distributed automatically by CEERIS, so the skippers won't have to take care of that anymore. And they are also able to manage their electronic reports and the communication with the authorities efficiently. Furthermore, they can provide logistics users access to voyage and transport information in EURIS. That was already mentioned very briefly by Peter before in the presentation of EURIS, I think. And last but not least, the cooperation between fleet operators and consignors, consignees is simplified with the help of CEERIS as well. Furthermore, we have the reporting authorities that, of course, can receive and manage the electronic reports. And also here, the cooperation with other authorities and reporting parties is simplified. And here then again, we have the logistics users who also get benefits from CEERIS, but only in case they were granted access to access those data. In case they got access, they can see vessel position, voyage, and transport information in EURIS. So let's get to the main experiences we have gained so far with CEERIS. For once, we had already some registrations. To be more precise, here we had the numbers from the beginning of March. So by 6th March, we had 477 registrations, of which 214 were reporting party users, 217 were receiving authority users, and 46 were national ERI admins. The national ERI admins are the users who are configuring the reporting requirements. Furthermore, we got some, of course, quite positive user feedback, such as that the reporting has been significantly simplified due to the large pool of reference data that we are using or reusing. Furthermore, the transparency of the reporting requirements has been increased. And the fact that the system is available in all relevant languages is also found to be very positive. The same is for the export of PDFs in selected languages and format at any time, which was found to be very positive as well. And in the course of the user feedback, new needs were also expressed that we want to tackle, of course, with the new features, which will be presented on the next slide. Such new needs are, for example, triggered due to new political developments, such as the recent shift of the Schengen borders, or also due to the large size of certain fleet operators in the Danube, and so on. So the follow-up actions. Let me give you here a brief or a selected overview of the new features that are planned to be implemented in the near future. For example, various improvements on the GUI content design structure. So for example, the customized sorting of reference data and filtering. Furthermore, to add an indication for vessels that were already controlled. This need was mentioned, especially with the shift of the Schengen borders, so that the vessels don't need to be checked again at the next border. And another one would be, another follow-up action would be the improvement of the authority-to-authority communication. Yeah, the next two follow-up actions actually also concern EURIS, because CEERIS and EURIS are closely connected. Therefore, we need an improvement of the fleet and agent management, as well as an improvement of the vessel claim procedures. Furthermore, we would also like that maritime vessels who don't have an ENI number should also be able to use CEERIS in the future. So to also consider them. Then the connection of ports to CEERIS is also to be further advanced, so that CEERIS can also receive data from the ports and not only vice versa, how it's the case today. Another topic of follow-up action that is planned is the connection of other national receiving systems to CEERIS, so that in the future other systems are linked to CEERIS in such a way that they can also receive data from CEERIS and not just the other way around. So, for example, with BICS, right now it is possible that BICS sends data to CEERIS, but BICS authorities cannot receive data from CEERIS so far. Last but not least, the big topic, FT partners are investigating the possibility of certifying the CEERIS as an FT platform and authority gate for IWT. And that was it from my side. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Marie-Claire. I'm not sure if you were there during the morning session, but I think, Herfried Leitner, there were some questions about, if it covers already all logs or all information with regard to the various positions on the Danube. Did you hear his remarks? Because I guess there's still some data quality issues. So Marie-Claire.
So in general, of course, it's still not all partners are completely ready yet. I mean, I think, for example, what I know of is that the Czech Republic, Bulgaria, and Slovakia are planning to enter, like, really enter the world of CEERIS in this first quartal of the year. So yeah, there might still be some gaps, definitely. Yeah.
And I think that's a reassuring message to Herfried Leitner. It's work in progress, and it's not completely finished yet. Anything else we want to ask Marie-Claire? Because if not, we go to the final. Marie-Claire, thank you very much, and hope to see you soon somewhere during the RIS week or wherever.